Hi friends, this is an analysis of GATE CSE 2021 Set 1 question paper. As many of you know, this year we had two question papers, Set 1 and Set 2. Set 1 is the morning session question paper, Set 2 is the afternoon session question paper. In this video, we will discuss about the Set 1 question paper only. Again, if you want to go directly to the solutions of most of the questions, you can directly go to the description section of this video and also to the comment section. We will provide you a link where you can find most, if not all, the questions and detailed solutions. Just to give you a context, we have about 64 out of 65 questions in Set 1. For each of these questions, we have detailed solutions provided. Again, all these questions have been collected by our dedicated team. Just to give you a context, our team over the last 11 months or so has done about 5,200 phone calls to our students to clarify their doubts or to help them understand concepts better. Similarly, we have answered to over 69,000 emails and comments under our videos, emails that students send with questions and things like that. Again, we have conducted about 78 live sessions. Even though you see me in the live sessions, it is mostly the effort of the whole team behind the scenes. So thanks to our team, which has collected these, most of the questions, there might be one odd question that is missing, but most of the questions in Set 1 are there. Our team has also given detailed solutions available to you. So you can just go to the description section or the comment section. You will find all the solutions as best as we could collect in a short window of time. Again, thanks once again to our very dedicated team who has pulled this off in just a few hours. Having said that, again, please understand that there may be few inaccuracies in the questions. We are hoping that there are less than 5 inaccuracies in the 64 out of 65 questions, right? In case there is any inaccuracy that you find, whether it's an inaccuracy in the question, whether it's inaccuracy in the options, right? Whatever inaccuracy you find in the solutions link that we have shared, please email us at gatecse@appliedroots.com. We will update the question by triangulating from multiple sources, and we'll update the question or the options or the answer as soon as possible, right? Again, please understand that this is something that we tried to pull off in just a few hours. So there will be some inaccuracies because this is not the official question paper, right? So please excuse us if you find some mistakes, but also please inform us so that we can correct it as soon as possible. Cool. Now, if I have to summarize this Set 1 question paper broadly, this is a moderate level question paper with a few tricky questions put in there. Again, if you want to compare it with 2020 question paper, the last year GATE question paper for CSE, this paper is slightly harder, not actually too hard. Like for example, if you had just a few tricky questions in 2020, right now we have slightly more tricky questions. So in terms of trickiness of questions, we have more tricky questions in Set 1 2021 than in 2020. That is true. Also, we have MSQs, which by design are more tricky, right? But if you think about it, the question paper, the Set 1 question paper at least, is still a moderate level question paper. It is not hard by GATE standards. There are a few very hard or very hard GATE question papers. This is not that paper. This is a moderate level paper, very similar, very similar to 2020 with just a few more trickier questions. That's it, right? If I have to summarize it. Again, here is a table of all the subjects. Here we have listed each subject name. This percentage here basically says for someone who has prepared these concepts well, for an average student who has gone through these topics, who has practiced enough questions, what percentage of marks can they score per subject? For example, in engineering mathematics, it's very easy to score 50% marks, right? Of course, actually engineering mathematics this year is probably one of the hardest subjects amongst all the subjects in GATE CSE 2021 in Set 1, right? So for an average student who has done due diligence, who has prepared and practiced well, they can easily score 50% marks here. Again, there are some tricky topics, no doubts about it. Like there is a tricky question from combinatorics, there is a tricky question from conditional probability, etc. But if you see most other topics, like engineering math, it's easy to score 50% marks. The other 50% are tricky, medium hardness, but tricky. Similarly, if you look at data structures and algorithms here, 70% of the questions, you can easily score 70% marks. If you have gone through previous year question papers, if you have gone through the concepts, all of it. There are 30% of questions which are tricky both from data structures and algorithms. For example, there is a hash table problem, which is tricky. Again, these problems are not hard, they are just tricky, right? Similarly, there is a problem in algorithms about the diameter of a graph problem. That is slightly tricky, right? Similarly, if you look at theory of computation, there is a question on PDA. It is not hard, it is just tricky, right? So you can just go through the subject. For every subject, we have given a percentage of marks that are easy to score. So if this number is, let's say, 90%, for example, digital logic design is 90%, which means for somebody who has prepared that subject, solved the last few year question papers, done due diligence, they can easily score 90% marks in DLD, right? On the other hand, engineering math is slightly harder to score because of the trickiness. That's it, right? So this is again our estimate, keeping an average student in mind. Average student who has worked hard, covered all the topics in the subjects and done sufficient practice. We are not talking about toppers. There might be a brilliant student who is phenomenal in engineering mathematics who might say, hey, this engineering mathematics is easy. So we are not talking about those exceptions. This is keeping an average student in mind. Okay, cool. Now let us also share some estimates or expected numbers that we think. Again, these are just estimates. These are our best guesstimates, as we say in statistics, right? So we expect that the highest marks will be between 81 to 86. Again, there might be one brilliant student who is exceptionally good who might get 90 marks, but that's rare. Most likely the topper will score between 81 to 86 marks. Again, just to give you some context, last year topper scored 91 marks. So if you look at the comparison of these numbers, this year paper is slightly tricky. Hence, the topper most likely will score slightly fewer marks than last year. Right? Again, there will always be exceptions. There might be a brilliant candidate or a brilliant student who might just hit the ball to the boundary and get 92 marks. That exceptions are possible, but this is an educated guess that we are making here. Similarly, if you look at the top 100 ranks, right? Let's look at the top 100 ranks. Last year, students who got 71 plus marks got below 100 rank. This year, we are assuming that to get below 100 rank, you would need around 69 to 70 marks. Again, this is just a guesstimate. Don't take these numbers too seriously. We just ran some simple estimates based on data that we collected from our students. Okay, this is just an educated guess. As we call in statistics, it's a guesstimate. Again, students can score 70 marks in this question paper, as long as you have avoided silly mistakes, as long as you have done thorough preparation. If you have prepared all subjects thoroughly, practiced sufficient questions, and if you have avoided most silly mistakes, it is possible to score 70 marks comfortably. Right? These are the two things. If you have done it, you would score 70 plus marks and most likely get a rank below 100. Okay. Similarly, if I have to make a guess for 300 rank, right? Last year, students who got 65 plus marks got a rank under less than equal to 300. This year, this is harder to predict because of two fundamental reasons. One, there are MSQs. Okay, that's what makes it slightly tricky to predict for a 300 rank. At the same time, there are also third year students who are eligible for GATE this year. So we would say that we don't want to make an estimate here, but if we were forced to make an estimate, we think that this year this will be about 2 to 3 marks below this. Right? So last year was 65 marks and above, got a rank less than equal to 300. This year probably, if I have to make a rough estimate, right, -2 to -3 marks from this will be what students under 300 rank would get. So something like 62 to 63 is what might be the cutoff for the top 300 ranks. Again, this is just a very vague guesstimate. We are less certain here because as the ranks increase, the error margin also increases for us. Right? So we want to be more careful here. That's why we are not giving an exact number. Most likely it will be around this range. Again, that's because this paper is slightly trickier than last year. It's not significantly trickier or harder, just slightly trickier. So that's why we are using the last year ranks and the last year marks to base all of our estimates on, right? So similarly for 500 rank, last year cutoff was 63 plus marks. This year maybe -2 to -1 range. So people between 61 to 62 might lie below the 500 rank. Again, things get harder to predict in the 500 to 1000 range. It gets much harder there, right? So similarly, last year less than equal to 1000 rank was about 59 marks. This year, most likely very similar, might be 58 plus marks, right? Again, it gets harder to predict as the rank increases, right? Or as the score decreases, right? So roughly speaking, this is what we estimate things. Again, these are all rough estimates. This is what we estimate things might pan out for someone who has attempted set 1 question paper. Again, the qualifying marks last year were 28.5. This year they will be slightly lower than last year, most likely between 25 and 27 marks, most likely, right? Again, please understand that all these estimates are error prone. They are not exact estimates, they are best guesstimates. And all estimates in statistics will have errors. And this is what we could pull data from a bunch of our students and get a rough estimate of things. Please don't take these estimates too seriously. They are error prone, they are bound to be error prone, but we just want to give you a guesstimate if you're too confused about where you might stand, right? Cool. Again, please understand that for GATE CSE 2021 set 2 question paper, all the analysis and solutions are coming soon. We are short by a few questions. We didn't want to publish till the time we have sufficiently many questions. We are still collecting some of these questions. As soon as we have something ready, we will post a video and share detailed solutions of all the questions in set 2 also.